Okay. Okay. So another portion of my notes is it's not the same as the first time. First time was like, immediate sorry. Immediate reactions. Now this time it's just like it's not like, whoa, first thought. Now it's like it's just like the stress of worrying if it's too much to perceive. If it's too much information released, is it like but literally what I'm aware of is that I'm not sure. And the point of that is, you know, got people coming online and what are we to do but to express? That's, you're welcome. Okay, so let's see. Where do we want to start? Okay. Okay. We're going to start with everything except for what I've already mentioned in the previous video. Because I feel like it all connects to each other. So I'm just going to be kind of blabbing my notes and then making random connections to it. And as abstract that may be, I think at the end, there would be a conclusion generally, because that's what happened last time. Okay. And again, if it's too much information, it'll just, do a thing that's, it'll be fine. Okay. And it's going to be fine. Okay. So let me just pause for a minute. Okay. Okay. So the note that I felt like a message is relevant is I'm really going to say all this again. Okay. Note 1, drink chlorophyll or eat your vegetables, whichever. But we saw in Wicked that the Wiz had this green drink with him. And while I'm trying to remember, did she drink it? Did the mom drink it? And that was why she passed or something. I think that's probably exactly what happened. Ooh. Okay. Well, oh, feed the beast. Okay. Yeah, because we recognize that we found out that the Wiz had a daughter, and that daughter was perceived to be a creature because her skin was a different color. The color was green. But along with that, although being a bit different, she was also extremely gifted. Okay? I'm not saying, you know, become Captain America because you drink chlorophyll. That's not what I'm trying to say. I'm saying the Wiz, and I'm not saying this is chlorophyll that he had in his potion. But I'm saying, I think I'm trying to say that there may be antidote to something. Okay? So that's what I'm trying to say, and I'm not going to say nothing more about that one specifically, directly regarding that. Okay? So moving on. Now we're going to jump to a different topic yeah. So, okay. Okay, I'm good. Yeah. So, yesterday, the inspired song was, um, It's All Right. It's for You. was one quote that's not relevant to this specifically yet, but Frank Ocean, thinking about you. So, Eye of the Storm, because that is another term for a tornado, and in those lyrics, a tornado flew around he was in a dream world, right? Like, he was just dreaming, he was having a dream, and we don't wanna talk about the details of that. So, but he had a feeling, and how do we explain this? Basically, in I'm jumping all around. Sorry, it was more clear last time, surprisingly, but that's because I felt more free. Okay, so in the eye of the storm, when Dorothy was picked up and blah, 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 she was in the middle of the storm, she popped down and blah, blah, blah. But you see the thing forming, something is stirring, okay? And she was in the middle of it, okay? And at the bottom, she fell back through. She was picked up and fell back through. She was in a stirring, okay? So in the event that can be like in a different concept, like we just think about the forming of a star. It's a bit chaos outside, and then there's a direct center. Like there's a specific center and something in it that has an intention or is on a mission, and then it's formed, and then bam, a star is born. She fell out, and ironically, she's gained stuff that we talked about in the other video. Okay, so that's one random note. Okay. Next is um, past and future sight. Okay. Yeah. And under that, I put the all seeing eye. Okay. Moving on. So, hold on. So, yeah, I shouldn't expound on that. But Dorothy, we noted that she wants enough time to grow. And quotations from the song she sang was love overflowing, and at the end of the movie she says now has direction. Okay. And then for some reason the notes that I have here is that she has natural hair, or it appears to be, and that she appears to be skinny and that she's a teacher. Okay. And then next up is Scarecrow, who is in hopes of a brain, and the words for him that I have are break even, question mark, can you win, question mark, get out of the game, question mark, news scraps, and finance slash politics, because he had news scraps and like he was filled with them. That was like the makeup of his anatomy. And so when he had like a hole on the top of his head, he would just pull out news scraps and read them, which ironically, he was a great reader, I think. So I don't know, that's what I'm thinking. Interesting. Yeah, but yeah, he was reading that, and all news scraps, so finance and politics. Okay, that was for Scarecrow. Tin Man is heart and hopes of a heart, and he's hoping to feel something. For the words that I wrote down for him was vanity, question mark, double-sided vision, blind, question mark, love is or is not blind. Although we're talking about heart, he's not asking to see something, but I think it is important to recognize that he was hoping to see himself having those things. So it seemed to be that he was looking for reflection in order to get confirmation of his feelings. Um, and yeah, and then the next character is the lion in hopes of courage. And he used the strategy of projection to deflect from his lack of, although testing the courage of others when approaching him. And the words I wrote down for him also were, uh, you know, but nerves and hair, an extension of the nervous system, for obvious reasons, like the lion has a lot of hair, and wrote the word the beast. Okay, so yeah, moving on. I mentioned yesterday that there was this vision that I was having of a man who had started a new position, and it was in like a corporate setting. There was a very high ranking person. I don't want to say high ranking, but it was like an important person, could be the manager, could be the CEO, probably the CEO, like sort of thing, who invited the new person who just joined to dinner. They went to dinner and it was a super fancy dinner. And that person who just started was saying, I mean, he wasn't sure that he really wanted to go to dinner because like his stomach was not feeling good. And he just didn't want to eat really. But the CEO or the leader who would now be a mentor was saying, I'm hearing predecessor. Okay, so potential predecessor to this new person that just started the position. He was saying, like, no, eat, eat. You're going to be fine. I know that feeling. I know your stomach situation right now. I get it. Eat. And so he ate, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, good, the predecessor. And then the predecessor was like, you need to feed the beast. And that was like saying 1,000,000,000 things in just one statement. Like, that's basically he was trying to convey, like, this is how you will work. This is how you will win, is you just feed the beast. And as I'm thinking about that, there is like this perception of how a lot of things seem to be summed up to be like an MLM or like a pyramid thing, don't want to say scheme, but a thing, that and it's just like all these. I'm going to move on. These are my notes and maybe I will keep it abstract. Okay. So, um yeah, feed the beast. Okay? So, yeah, this is interesting. And then the next thing is, honestly, we could keep it at this right here. I'm wondering if I want to make this plain, very explained better, or no. Okay. No, I don't want to. So, fun, respectfully. Okay. So, I'll just say the rest of these notes and I'll keep it abstract. We won't connect the dots, although you as a listener are very much encouraged to do so. Okay. So, the one person that Dorothy was assigned to assassinate, Loki, respectfully. So that person was, using intimidation tactics, and the eye symbol was very prominent all over that room. And it turns out she was the one putting orders out for those in the city to like lurk on Dorothy and her friends, to just kind of track her progress, what she's doing, all of that. Okay. Because she was a new star in town, right? So, but also because she took the life of her sister. So there's that too. So, so for valid reason, she was being watched, right? And what else? So I guess that in connection to this vision that I just explained, um, please just consider how that is related, because yeah, listen, you know what, maybe the process of teaching is not to tell you what to think, but to show you a thought process for someone to take it or leave it, not the conclusion, but the process of reaching a conclusion. Sorry, that seems like sarcastic. I don't know why it did. Okay, so yeah, so there's that. Unregarded, not to mention one portion of the notes, but it was regarding the wizard in Emerald City. And then just lastly, this final note here is that song, the beautiful song at the end, like all the other songs that are very beautiful, A New Day, which, you know, the words I wrote was free feeling sunlight. And there is this significance here of like being plant like and salute to the sun, and that things can be made new again. Okay. So, can you feel a brand new day? You know, that was me like, can I sing out loud? Can I do this on the video? I don't, the words. Okay, I said the words. Yay. And then Hello World, a different, that was one note I put down. That's from the lyrics, literally. And then a different way of living now, a different way of living now. So, a different way of living now. Okay, so yeah, this was, you know, I just need to do that for myself. And if it's relevant to someone, it's relevant to someone. The gist is unsaid on this video. However, just how powerful the freaking movie is. Like, just in watching it, how terrifying it is, how beautiful, how spiritually substantive it is, like how strong and how magnificent the energy is in this movie, and how like it was pretty much dismissed when it was first released. Like it didn't make as much as it put in. And you know, but how many years later? It was like 1979 or 1978 or something when it came out. It's 2025, and I'm literally studying the movie and the lyrics of the soundtrack. That is amazing. So for that, I am thankful because, and you know, listening to Diamonds Are Forever too, like this says a lot. How things can last, how things can last, and that's the amount of effort someone is putting in. There's a difference between the orchestra, the amount of practice, the amount of rehearsal time, the amount of studying, the amount of philosophy implied into the writing, like the amount of effort. And the amount of effort, literally, how many people worked on the movie, all were in agreement on something to complete this movie. Okay. And additionally, it was on top of the fact that the wizard, it was based off of the wizard. So there's already so much substance and significance in the story. But for that to be compounded and included, at there was a level of inclusion, and that obviously like the first cast was only white and for that obvious reason. So there was just like the magnitude of this story and so many branches, not so many, but the significant focal points, that it's just not the wizard, then it's like sequels, then it's like the wicked, and we're really looking into the lessons from these characters and how it's significant in life in 2025. Like that is so significant. But anyway, based off of the effort, manual labor, focus, talent, skill, practice, all of that in this movie and in these songs and this music, like that's a huge lesson in itself. This is a movie I will remember. A movie I watched last year that was made in 2022, maybe it wouldn't. Maybe it's not something I would remember. So I think maybe aside from all the other things I was trying to allude to and just noting off what, you know, listing off notes, maybe one significant lesson here is like showing payoff, generational payoff Like, for those who have been involved in this process of storytelling and for it to not yet show the results in their time frame, but for it to show like almost 50, right? Almost 50 years later. Wait, over 50 years. Wait, around there. Almost 50 years later for it to like grow in meaning that much later says a lot about how I should live my life, and maybe how those who want lasting influence in their world, in the world that they're in, if they want lasting influence, certain things may not be seen immediately. Certain things might be dismissed, hushed intentionally, um, possibly, or when you get a message saying it is time, that's directly a message for you. And you know when you're supposed to do what you are meant to do, and it could be 1,000 things you're supposed to do in your lifetime, a million things, like obvious significant things, or it's just like a specific moment. But the amount of effort put in to accomplish is, I think that's that's how to gain the results truly. So, yep.